and welcome to healthyhouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Today we are checking in on this Pothos, which I rooted some time back with rooting hormone. Showed you how to do it. I'm linking that video below, as well as any other videos I mentioned in this video. Okay, so today we're going to pull it out of here. Not pull, but gently take it out of here and put it into a pot with regular potting soil. Now, Pothos, you may be thinking, well, why'd we do it in this? And this is a rooting medium, a special rooting medium that I do have a video on how to make that as well. And you may be thinking, well, I just stick my Pothos in water and I get roots and it's great. Well, that's good, and Pothos is one of the plants that you can root in water. However, one thing you need to keep in mind is that when you root in water, those are water roots, and when you plant in soil, the plant then has to convert to soil roots. So that's why if you have rooted in water before with plants and stuck them in soil and thought they've got tons of roots, they should be good, and they don't, the plant doesn't do well, it's because it didn't do well transferring from the water roots to the soil roots. A lot of times it just never occurred, and then the plant just, the roots kind of die and they fall off, and you wonder, like, what happened? I had all these roots and now they're dead. That's what happened. So one way to prevent, and there is a way to transition plants that have been grown in water into soil, and I do have a video on that as well, or a video series on that as well. So that is possible to do, but it's a little bit easier if you can, and then just putting it in a rooting medium to begin with, and then it's going to have real soil roots in here, and I plant it and there's no problems with anything dying because they're the right roots for this soil. Okay. So we had done this a while back with rooting hormone, as I mentioned. So, and I know that the plant has rooted. Number one, because when I pull gently on it, it is definitely firmly rooted in the soil. Number two, because it has started to grow new leaves since I did the prior video and put these cuttings in. So I do know that it is ready to go. I had put toothpicks in here to hold down certain sections. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're gonna have to dig down. You wanna dig down far, because you don't know how far the roots are in there. You wanna be really gentle too. I had done a couple, let's see, I think 3 different cuttings. Hard to tell now that they're all growing together, but just gently. So get down in there. If you have a spoon like I have, something gentle. You could use a trowel, but you would want to use a small one, a very small one. And you remember, you're not exactly sure where those roots are. So you need to be very careful that you don't break roots during this whole process here. You want to lift it out. You do want to leave these cuttings in long enough, and I may have to just actually spill it onto the table here, maybe a better way to do this, because I can feel a network of roots in there, and as I'm digging, I'm pushing on those. So if that happens, you're going to have to do what I'm doing right here. It's a little bit messier, but it works just fine. So as I was saying, you want to leave the plants in long enough to develop a really healthy root system, but at the same time, too long, and then you have a little bit more problems like I'm having right now with getting the plant out with the roots still intact, right? So that is something to keep in mind. So I'm gently just going to basically make a pile on the table with this, and then extricate the plant and the plants and their roots from there. Okay, So now I got a little bit of root stuck in there. So a little root loss, but not too bad. All right. So now we can see if we can get a little closer here, even. Push this up. Push this back, I guess. Okay, so you can see there are a bunch of roots in here. There's, and like I said, there's this whole system of roots that have developed. It's like a labyrinth of roots here. So that's a nice thing too about this rooting mix, is that it's not very compact. So it's got sand in it, it's got pumice in it, and then it also, so it has some other things in it too. So but it's loose. It's a loose medium. So you can actually do this where you can just dump it out and pull the rooted plant out from there. Okay, so I am just kind of moving around the soil so that I can loosen this guy up enough to get it out. It is a system here. So you can see, very nice there. And what will happen when you're growing several cuttings in one pot is they will, a lot of times their roots will intermingle a bit. If you're trying to plant them in separate pots, then you're going to have to gently take them apart. If you're going to plant in the same pot, you could just take the clump of root and put it into the pot. This, I am going to be planting all of these into one pot. I got this pot here. It does say strawberries on it. These aren't exactly strawberries, but it's a cute pot. So I am going to plant into that pot. And you got a good look at the roots. Now I'm kind of finding out here, are these two, all three of them are pretty stuck together. And they will, as mentioned, even grow together. So what I'm going to do, it wouldn't hurt to have a little of this in there, but I'd prefer to have the soil in there that I prepared. This is this Pro Mix BX. I'll put a link below for that. Yeah, I also have a soil actually that I make that I could have also used. I think I may have used up all that I made recently. Okay, so I'm taking some out so I can gently set these in. See if it's a little too deep now, so I'm gonna have to put a little more soil back in. I do have an entire repotting series that shows you how to repot. I'll put a link for that too. So shows you everything you need to know about repotting plants. Potting up and repotting. Okay. So I'm getting those, make sure I've got all the roots in there. So you can see that was a nice root system. It's still a little too deep in the pot. So you don't want to be too deep in the pot, and I do talk about that in a video. It looks like I'm going to have to get more soil. I did pre-wet this soil as well. So the nice thing is now, and yes, you can take cuttings and just stick them into an existing Pothos pot, and they will eventually root. That is something you can also do to fill in blank spots. But for this is it's a nice little combination here with a lot of good roots. I'm going to stop the camera for a second and go get a little more. Okay, we're back. I got some more soil here, so I'm going to go ahead and fill in a little bit more. Make sure there's enough soil in there. You want about 1/4 of an inch down, definitely not a 1/2 inch. A 1/2 inch is a little too far down, so about 1/4 of an inch in the inside lip there when you're done, when you pot up. You want at least that 1/4 of an inch though, because if you don't have enough, what happens is when you water, the water flows over rather than sinking into the pot. if that does occur. I have a video on that too, where you can make holes in the soil and then the water will seep through. Okay, got this in here pretty good here, and then you want to tamp down, which means that you firm it down nicely so that you make sure there aren't any air pockets in the soil. And we want to, of course, make sure we cover all the roots, the good, nice roots that were formed during this process. There we go. Very nice, good. So by rooting with the rooting hormone in the rooting medium, we guarantee that we have roots. When we plant it, we know we've got a plant with roots. I'm going to water. This is warm water. You always want to use warm water when you're watering plants. House plants, especially newly potted up seedlings like this as well. There's one little root there that's still exposed a little, put a little more soil there. So keep a good eye, especially after you water, then any roots that didn't get covered will show at that point. There's a little new leaf right here that's coming out that made sure to leave out there. Okay, so here we go. Really nice new Pothos plants with really strong root system. Going to do really well, fill out, and be a gorgeous plant eventually. And it's already a cute plant and it's in a cute pot. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.